Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Can we all stand? We are going to have the national song and the school song. They're going to be done by current student Sherry Ann Francis and past student T. Andrew Carty. Please, let's stand appropriately, after which we will remain standing for the prayer. We're kindly asking everybody to join in the singing of our school song, especially our students and past students. Ushers, can we have persons be held at the door, please, until we... One moment. If we can just stand where we are. If you're walking in, just stand where you are, please. We're about to sing the school song. Thank you.
School for few.
standing in position for prayer.
Gracious Heavenly Father, we adore you, we worship you, we magnify you, and we welcome you in this place tonight. Father God, I pray a blessing on everyone who's going to be participating here tonight, be with the presenters, the judges, and may indeed the ideas, what they work, indeed, may they see fruition as we go through tonight's proceedings. This I ask in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. You may be seated.
Please be seated as quickly as possible. Honorable Minister of Social Development and Education, Ms. Diane Kentish-Rogers, Honorable Minister of Home Affairs, Mr. Kenneth Hodge, Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, Communication, Utilities, Housing and Tourism, Mr. Hayden Hughes, Honorable Minister of Economic Development, Commerce, Information Technology, and Natural Resources, Mr. Kyle Hodge, Parliamentary Secretary, Economic Development, Tourism, Natural Resources and Information Technology, Mrs. Quincy Gomes-Marie, Chief Education Officer, Mr. Bren Romney, other education and government officials, sponsors, judges, teachers, participants in the 2021 Albina Lake Hodge Comprehensive School Business Idea Basket, audience, present and virtual, good evening. It is an honor to serve at the Albina Lake Hodge Comprehensive School, and tonight it is my honor to welcome you to the second annual ALHCS Business Idea Basket, the BIB. The BIB is proudly sponsored by the Anguilla Youth Business Foundation and supported by several local citizens and international friends of Anguilla. Last year's BIB was amazing. Our 2020 student teams presented ideas for our populace to consider in regards to the development of the Sandy Ground Pond. Tonight, our student teams will be pitching their ideas to our governmental, public, private, and international audience on diversifying Anguilla's economy innovatively and sustainably. On behalf of the principal and staff of the Albina Lake Hodge Comprehensive School, I bid you welcome and in advance say thank you to all for supporting and attending in person and online. Have a great night.
A good evening to all, and I do adopt the protocol that was established by Mr. Perry Richardson, but with one major change. I believe for most of us, most of us I will say, I would like us to give a rounding applause to the fine lady that just walked in. She is Her Excellency, the Governor, and I have yet to pronounce your name. Please. We want to say welcome to the first event, I believe, that the ALHCS is putting on that you're attending, and we pray that it won't be the last. Thank you very much for coming, and you are welcome. On Tuesday, 4th February 2020, the ALHCS, strongly supported by the Anguilla Youth Business Foundation, made, and many other sponsors, and some very bold students, student competitors, teams, and judges the judges were all secretly asking, what in the world did I leave this girl Avanella get me into? That was Tuesday, 4th February 2020. We cannot forget to mention, and I take this opportunity to say thanks to the audience who had faith in us, and they came out, and also to those billionaire contributors who emptied out their wallets to make sure that every child went home with some dinero in their pockets. By the end of the evening on the 4th of February 2020, we all had one resounding word regarding the evening: amazing. Was that true? Tonight, though we make no promises, I can assure you that the student competitors have worked hard, and they have not eaten nor slept in the last 48 hours. They have acknowledged that the standard that was set last year was very high, but they are willing and they are committed to giving their own very best. So I ask of you, let's smile. The audience. Can we practice now, everybody? Smile. The cameras, Gilbert is going to turn the cameras on us. The cameras are on, so say cheese. Say cheese, Mr. Brooks. Cheese. Let's make it a little bit easier for them and smile and help them to relax, because I know a few of them are pretty nervous. Given our global pandemic, our business department was unable to roll out its business weeks plans until the start of the school year. Therefore, in so many ways, it is a miracle that we are here in this room together. It is our prayer that this event will fully blossom into the dynamic catalyst that it does have the potential to be. And so with that, I welcome you again, as Mr. Richardson so ably did. I'm going to continue by giving an overview of our sponsor. The Anguilla Youth Business Foundation is a business service organization established under the Anguilla Foundation Act to provide business development and support to young people residing in Anguilla. Their vision is to create an enabling environment that cultivates an entrepreneurial culture among Anguillian youth. Their mission is to empower Anguillan youth by transforming their entrepreneurial ideas into sustainable business realities and by facilitating access to financial, technical, and social assistance, thereby contributing to socially responsible economic development in Anguilla. The Anguilla Youth Business Foundation joined the Youth Business International in June 2017. And may I add that when they joined, they got the highest level of accreditation. Can you please put your hands together for the end? I'm not sure if you know exactly what that means, but anybody who has filled out a grant or any form of application on that level and you're getting the highest level of accreditation, it means that you are very well put together. So can we give them another applause? I did say that they were our sponsor. And I will now let you know that they are sponsoring us, the ALHCS BIB, to the tune of 10,000 EC dollars. Can you give another clap? At this time, I also pause to acknowledge the presence of the Deputy Governor, Honorable Deputy Governor, Mr. Perrin Bradley. Thanks for coming. I am now going to give you an introduction of the teams that are being represented tonight, or that are participating tonight. I'm going to ask, as I call your names, that you come and you stand by your table, please. Team number 1, and as they come, please make them feel welcome. The Innovators, led by Tajik Khanna. Well, sorry, they'll be going number 2, but I'm calling them number 1. Team number 2, coming first, Tajik Khanna, Ashanti Richardson, Lisanne Vanterpool, and Shanae Cooley, the Innovators. Please give them a hand. Innovative young men, led by Leaford Gums, and it continues. Kaiden Bryan, Andrew Bejnath, and Kamani Hodge. Team number 3 will be on the end, but and that's for logistical setup reasons. We have Thrillers, led by Taisha Emmanuel. They have 5 in their group. Arisha Richardson, Niamki Brooks, Chloe Adams, Remisha Proctor. And I will ask for a very special round of applause for this group, not because they're last, but this is our first group that includes 4th formers, and all of them are 4th formers. Last year we had all 6 formers, and this group, their name is ANP, Anguilla Natural Produce, led by Duvina Singh. And the other 3 members are Briella Latang, Janae Matthews, Jeffrey Webster. So as they stand here for a moment, I'm going to give you a brief overview of the BIB and its rationale. The ALHCS Business Idea Basket recognizes that the youth have a voice which is hardly ever heard in national issues. We recognize that Anguilla is growing and developing. Issues relative to the growth of our economy, the protection of the environment, infusion of sustainability, and the preservation of our tranquility are presenting themselves simultaneously. Anguilla's bright, youthful minds are generally left out of the most current national planning and, importantly, even future planning. The ideas of our young people need to be showcased as they can inform and trigger national investments that would ensure that Anguilla is ahead of the curve and proactive in addressing societal needs. We want to foster, promote, and bring to practicality youthful creativity and innovation in application to real-life issues in Anguilla. In terms of our participants, we ask students from years 4, 5, and 6, that includes 6B and 6A, to volunteer, to team up themselves and come forward as a strong, formidable competitor in this event. We are open even to students who may have just left school, but we haven't gotten there yet, as this is only our second year. We are collaborating with the Anguilla Youth Business Foundation, and also underneath of that, the DYC as well. We can't get away from the DYC, and we are very thankful for them. Can you put your hands together for them as well? Each competing group is asked to research around a current topic, a current Anguillian issue. And tonight's topic, as you heard already, but I'll repeat it again, we are piggybacking off of the Premier's budget address, which was diversifying Anguilla's economy innovatively and sustainably. We know that the Sandground Pond is still relevant, but we felt that this was even more of a relevant topic now. Each group has been tasked with brainstorming for a creative, innovative, out-of-the-box, high-tech solve for this issue, how it would benefit Anguilla economically, environmentally, socially, and it has to be in keeping with our Beyond Extraordinary tagline. Each group has research prepared and will deliver a presentation of their idea. This presentation could include a physical model or at least a diagrammatic layout of the mechanism they're proposing. Each group tonight will have 12 minutes to present their idea. I want to ask now the groups to take their seats, and I'll call you up one by one. We can start with group number 1, and we can come all this way. You can leave them. Please give them a hand again. I'm now going to introduce the judges and their criteria. We have 3 special awards. Our first special award is the award for the group who has the best idea to execute realistically. The person tasked with judging that, given the award to the team that wins that award is Mr. Bren Romney, our Chief Education Officer. Can you please stand, Mr. Romney? Just in case anybody doesn't know you. Our second special award goes to the team that presents their idea best. And this award is judged by you, the audience, here today, tonight, and online. It will be done on our school's Facebook page, so if you have your phones, you can pull them out. If you have your other gadgets, you can pull them out and vote for the team, listen carefully, that presents their idea best. Not your family, not your relative, not the idea you like, not those who, present the most realistic idea. It is the team that presents their idea the best. Is that clear? Thank you. And given the award, I did say you're going to do the voting. Our third special award is the award for the team that has the most beyond extraordinary idea. And I know that she just left school, or maybe day before yesterday, but she's joining us here tonight as a judge, Mrs. Quincy Gomes Marie, our parliamentary our Parliamentary Secretary in Tourism. All right. So those 3 awards are separate in and of themselves. All right? Then, for our first place winner, who will receive $1,500 US, our second place winner, who will receive $1,000 US, our third place winner, who will receive $500 US, all contributed by the AYBF. Give them another hand, please. Those places will be given by our next 5 judges in front of me, and that is a team that accumulates a maximum of 50 points. We might have a tie. We'll see what we do then. Creativity. Mrs. Najeri Richardson Carty. She is an edupreneur, the creative instructional specialist at Branches of Learning and founder of Big on Learning, with many years focused on researching and practicing creativity and innovation. She will be judging the creativity aspect of our bib tonight. Mrs. Richardson Carty, can you please stand? Thank you. Creativity is the ability to develop new ideas and discover new ways of looking at problems and opportunities. Our next segment is the innovation segment. This is the ability to apply, create, not just have them, but to apply creative solutions to those problems and opportunities to enhance or enrich people's lives. Judging that segment will be our very own ALHCS principal, Mrs. Rita Celestine Carty, a master teacher. I feel like skipping the next judge, but I'll be mannerly. Aesthetically pleasing is the next is the next segment. And we could choose no one else better. Aesthetically pleasing means, is it beautiful to the eyes? We have the one and only Mr. Van Burn Brooks. He's a portfolio entrepreneur, the principal of Marlins Architecture, and the only billionaire in the room. Mr. The next segment is economically beneficial. How economically beneficial are these ideas to us in Anguilla? That is, what capacity do they have to generate national income? And we have the honor of having the Honorable Mr. Kyle Hodge with us. He is the Minister of Economic Development. And last but not least, because he's going to have a lot to say tonight, I believe so. The last segment is how environmentally friendly are these ideas? And that is, they're not harmful to the environment. We have Mr. C. Andre Samuel. He's a husband. He's a naturalist. He's an agronomist. And most of all, he's a public servant. Can you give all our judges a hand? I want to say a special hand and thank you to Mrs. Quincy Gomes-Marie, Mr. Kyle Hodge. This is their first time here, and so they might be feeling a little bit uncertain, but they were all here and they came back willingly a second year, so be comforted. And we want to say a very special thank you to all who returned this year. You all did a fantastic job last year, and you made this event successful. We are grateful to you. And now I believe we can get on with the show. I will now present team number 1. It's a group of 4 boys, led by Mr. Leaford Gums. 4 masterminds. I literally stand corrected. And these 4 masterminds have given themselves the name Innovative Young Men. They're presenting their ideas for the diversification of Anguilla's economy, innovatively and sustainably. Gilbert, the mics. It's one or two.
Yo.
Okay, good night.
Good night.
We are the innovative young men. As you see, we have 4 masterminds up here, and we will deliver this project masterfully. Yo, fellas, you man could imagine, them man back in the day used to stay in a hot sun, but them picking salt to export. What wrong with these man?
Boy, yes, boy. The man had to make a living. The man had to take it, cross the road to Troy, then put it on a boat to go to Nova Scotia and Trinidad.
But that's a lot of work for no money. Man, that's crazy, man. Could you imagine?
Now COVID-19 has arisen, and the economy has plummeted in a sense that we need to come up with a more creative and innovative way to diversify the Anguillan economy, either by enhancing the tourism sector or look into a new sector to tap into.
In 1997, the island named Little San Salvador was bought for $6 million, which corresponds to $9.3 million today due to inflation. Geographically, it is 98 miles southeast of Nassau, also known as the mainland of the Bahamas. It is 2,400 acres, to which only 50 acres are developed, as the rest is set aside as a wildlife reserve. Half Moon Cay receives over 200 stops per year between the Carnival Cruise Line and the Holland America Cruise Line.
Ladies and gentlemen, please, I want you guys to stay with me here and have an open yet creative mind. Because I know us Anguillans are brilliant people. And also, as SpongeBob once said, imagination. Nevertheless, this extravagant idea is simple and it will be a tremendously worthwhile idea. Picture it, Anguilla, with its very own youth cruise ship private yacht destination filled with new and innovative attractions on the island. You may be thinking that this idea could never be possible on our little island known as Anguilla. But guess what? We have a beyond extraordinary idea. The idea is to take place on Dog Island. Yes, people, Dog Island. And no, I do not mean an island filled with dogs. Why may you ask? Simply, Anguilla owns Dog Island. And if you haven't known or realized this well, my people, now you know. Now you know, and it can be turned into something more, and we must take advantage and capitalize on this opportunity.
Our genius concept stems from 4 masterminds, as you can see, whose vision is to transform a small 510-acre key located approximately 13 kilometers, 8.1 miles, to the northwest from Anguilla shores. A marine park of Dog Island can be transformed into a cruise ship / private yacht destination. Here, tourists can come and enjoy a variety of activities without having the need to come to the mainland Anguilla. This idea will bring a new market of tourists, as Anguilla is going to tap into the cruise ship sector. This brings many opportunities that can result from this idea. And more importantly, bring more revenue into the island of Anguilla.
Okay, here we have a diagram, a picture, a map showing all what this Dark Island project would entail. We could have had a more detailed idea if we gotten a trip to Dark Island, but due to,
Budget constraints. Budget constraints.
Dark Island is an uninhabited small island of 510 acres situated west of Prickly Pear Key. The island with adjacent keys has been identified as an important bird area by BirdLife International. Right, Tijandre? It is home to a large number of nesting seabirds. The coastline is characterized by low cliffs allotting with sandy beaches. There are two large ponds there are two large ponds which lie inside two of the beaches. The ponds are here. So we have water sports. On Anguilla, we can't have jet skis because they get nice and what's not. So on Dark Island, you could drive a jet ski from 12 a.m. in the morning till 12 a.m. in the night. So that means all day. We have we would also have like the standard water sports, kayaking, parasailing, and all those sports. We also would have beach shacks. These beach shacks will have restaurants, boutiques, shops. Like you can have a local boutique in one of those shops. Say just somebody want to just go there for like 2 days to set up because they say tourists, 2 cruise ships will be coming in that day. So you could just book your reservation, carry your stuff, set up, and when you're done, just go back to Anguilla. It also has restaurants. The restaurants will be always there. They wouldn't change like the boutiques and the shops. Then we have bird watching. And Dark Island is the home of many birds. You have the booby, you have the frigate bird. So there's 2 birds that nest there. You could watch them. We will also have nature trails. These trails will be taken from one end of the island to the next. We would be mindful of the birds, so the trails will not be in the way of the birds. If we had get to go to Dark Island, we don't know the bird.
Budget constraints.
We have a shuttle boat. The shuttle boat will be running to take tourists that is not on the cruise ship if they want to just go to Dark Island. And then we have the cruise ship. The cruise ship will not be anchored straight to the island. It will be offshore like Half Moon Cay does it. Okay?
So you may be asking, how are we going to get resources? Where will they be stored? How are they going to be transported to Dark Island? What is going to be built on the island? Well, as you can see, they were previously explained during the layout. And in terms of sourcing materials, the equipment and human resources there will be appeared to the southwestern side of the island, which will accommodate containers and boats to offload material and equipment. And the pier will also serve as a means of fair boat transportation to the mainland and to allow for interested locals to visit the island as well.
All right, so these are the key benefits. This idea is tremendously beneficial as Dark Island can be a major success. Last year, St. Martin welcomed 1,597,101 cruise ship passengers in 489 cruise ship cards last year alone. We can easily capitalize on this. The passengers would want to engage in various activities, as well as tourists are constantly looking for new and exciting places to visit and try out. This is a plus plus, as a new destination equals more interesting passengers on a cruise ship, which leads to more revenue, money.
You know, Moken getting a little old now, so we gotta boost it up.
This idea allows for Anguilla to step foot into the cruise ship sector in a sense that it will gain another way of capitalizing on the number of tourists and revenue gain. One major drawback of this is that tourism generally brings crime, so this wouldn't be an issue as the passengers won't be able to come to Anguilla, to the mainland. Finally, some challenges. The Island is known as a marine park, and advancing this idea could cause environmental problems, of course. We would have to carry out an environmental impact assessment. Finally, one major challenge to this, waste management from cruise ships could be potentially a big problem.
Okay, guys, thank you all for watching.
All right, we'll just have 3 minutes to 5 minutes worth of questions from our judges. Judges, there are 2 mics on your tables. Any judge, I'm not going to ask if any judge wants to ask a question. Which judge will be the first to ask a question? Mrs. Carty. Mrs. Carty, see if it's on, please. Press the. You can turn on the other one together.
Good evening, innovative young men.
Good evening.
And thank you very much for your presentation. I can see that you not only gave us some very good ideas, but you also entertained us as well. So,
You know, you teach me you want to be nodding in the crowd and things, so you gotta make sure stay awake.
Okay, so thank you very much for that. And at the very end of your presentation, you mentioned a very big problem, but you didn't give us any ideas as to possible solutions. So tell us about waste management and some possible solutions to that major problem.
All right, so in terms of waste management, one of the major issues that you might be thinking about is pollution, especially of like the marine environment around Dog Island. But if you were to look at the layout of how the Dog Island project is situated, most of the main activities that may pollute the environment, for example, the jet skis or what's not, or even the cruise ships, they are situated towards the southern side of the island, while the northern side is going to be left completely free to allow for migration of these fish or the various marine life, to allow for them to remain where they are unbothered for the most part.
And also teach, we'll have various rules and regulations for the cruise ships to make sure that no dumping of waste from the cruise ship and other stuff. So.
Thank you. Thank you. I must say, very well presented. My question would be very direct. What type of impact does the project have as it relates to the employment numbers for Anguillians nationals?
Well, it will have a great impact.
What's your forecast?
we forecast that employed on the island on a permanent basis would be about 100 Anguillans or 100 locals there due to the cleaning, the opening of the restaurants, the maintenance of the various activities that will be going on the island, plus security and all those things. So that should be about 100 locals, plus the various pop-up businesses. For example, the boutiques that will be seasonal, they'll also provide employment on the island.
Thank you. Thank you. If you can provide maybe some more details as it relates to how you can generate revenue. I'm looking at it for the economic benefits. So I don't know if you have any details as to how fees will be generated, how different taxes will be generated. This is my daily job, so I'm looking for your help.
So the island will be not for sale for the cruise ships to buy. They will have to lease, like be on a contract. So maybe a couple of years they'll be able to come and dock there and use the facilities of the island and not and not just buy the island, because I was listening to the House of Assembly. And Mr. Hughes stated that Parsons is leasing land and not, Parsons is selling land and not leasing it. And there, my grandchildren would need to maybe use this island to gain revenue as well.
See? Brilliant Anguillians. Brilliant Anguillians, okay? Brilliant Anguillians.
All right, one last question, and it's from the environmentalist.
Gentlemen, good presentation. And I think Leaford and Mr. Hodge know that I'm not going to go easy because they're boys brigaders. I have two questions, really. The quote that Mr. Bejnat would have, the figures he would have listed was based on really large cruise vessels coming out of St. Martin. Have you guys considered what scale of cruise tourism you're going to put on the island? That's my first question.
So the island will accompany the large cruise ships. We accommodate, sorry. So we will be monitoring the amount of persons on the island at a time, because we don't want the persons wandering off and messing with the wildlife, etc. And we'll encourage a lot of persons to visit the mainland Anguilla itself and the neighboring keys, Scrub, Prickly Pear, etc. And, you know.
Okay. And then my next question is regarding how do you intend to balance, whether by zoning or otherwise, but how do you intend to balance your motorized type of sports and your non-motorized sort of vehicular traffic? So foot traffic, kayaking, how are you planning to monitor and separate those particular activities, given that you have quite a number of activities going on the island, right? Plus you're trying to, and think about it, consider that you're gonna have areas where there's a lot of noise, which disturb birding activity, nesting, etc. So think about it very carefully before you answer. So again, how are you going to balance those activities on the island?
What do you exactly mean by balancing?
How are you going to ensure that the person who is coming off the cruise vessel, the person who's in the beach shacks, the person who's board watching, the person who's jet skiing, how are you going to make sure that whatever activity I'm doing, because I'm coming to the island, that I can enjoy myself and be safe, and others can be safe around me, if that makes sense?
Like probably projected scheduling and so, you know.
That's one good
Exactly, and we
example.
have like persons to monitor, like, okay, so we set days to carry out these events, and then we set times to carry out these events.
And that's also be employment for locals who come in as well, because there will allow for locals who are not employed at the moment. They will have a job that allows them to not only engage with nature, but engage with others as well.
And it could create like more jobs for more persons as well. That could provide like job opportunity.
That's what I wanted to hear. Thank you.
I will allow one more question from Mr. Brooks.
Hi, guys. First of all, I just want to say the reason why you're getting this detailed questioning or detailed inquiry is because of how you presented your project. So it's not a criticism, it's actually very informative, and I love the way that you guys are answering these questions. That being said, you know how you could actually monitor and schedule different activities without actually scaring the birds away? Using mokes.
See, we provide an exposure for you.
They're very quiet.
See,
very quiet.
We already have one investor already, so
Yeah,
far
there-
With that, we say thank you.
So,
And we thank
very
you.
much. One of the things I think it's important, you guys should have given a little more thought to what those pop-up shops are going to look like. Anguilla is not the typical tourist Caribbean-esque destination. You know, what does it look like? What are those trails? What does the pier look like? If you're talking in terms of aesthetically pleasing, we don't want to be Half Moon. We don't want to be St. Martin. We don't want to be Pinnell Island. We want to be Anguilla or Dog Island. So those things are really, really important. Okay, you've got to think about innovative ways of how to create substructures and motifs and views and visualizations that people will always remember and they will always want to come back. I'm being honest with you, pretty good presentation, quite innovative.
There's a mic up there. We will indulge Mrs. Gomes-Marie with one more question.
Yes. Sorry, you couldn't see me over here
Sorry, I
waving.
apologize.
So I just have one question. You would have mentioned that this is very different from our current tourism product offerings, and you were trying to diversify our tourism offerings. So how would you propose to make this complementary to our existing tourism product as opposed to it clashing with it? So how would you manage the introduction of such a different product?
So not all the time the cruise ships will be coming to the island. So maybe certain days we'll have it open to the general public of Anguilla, and maybe tourists from St. Martin and other islands and private yachts.
All right, thank you. Can you put your hands together, please, for the 4 masterminds, innovative young men. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you all as well. Hope it didn't take up too much of the time.
I will now ask the second group, the innovators, to get ready. I'll introduce you in a sec, but the judges will be given a minute or two to work. Okay, go ahead. In between group presentations, I'll be filling you in with some current information relative to the ALHCS. On Monday, 15 February, we will be having our inter-house bicycle race. We're asking the general public to come out and support the bicycle races. On Tuesday, 16 February, we will be having our throws, javelin, shot put, and discus. Not sure if you're going to have... Oh, yes. We may have jumps as well. I have to verify that. But on the very next day, on the 17th, we will have the 1,200 meter and the 1,500 meter. Brings back memories, Mr. Hughes? Yes, lots of memories. And then one of our big days, please come out, line the streets. It will be on Friday, 19th February, the ALHCS Inter-House Road Race. Anybody has memories of that? Please come out and support the students as they prepare for and run the road race. We have a motto, walk, run, or crawl. We're gonna make it in. And then our biggest day of all is our sports day. Our sports day will be on Tuesday, 23rd February. And I know one comment we always have is that primary school sports day, the Ronald Webster Park, is filled to running over. And then for our sports day, almost everybody can get a bench for themselves in the bleachers. Let's change that, please. Come out and support our young adults, our young people. They need to see you cheering them on. And by now, we have lots of different people who have been on orange, pink, yellow, maroon, and purple house who can come on and share their house, all right? So we invite you to come on over to the Ronald Webster Park on the 23rd of February. Sorry? Oh, yes, shirts. If you are on Pink House, and you would like a shirt, please see Mr. Perry Richardson right after. If you're on Purple House and you would like a shirt, please see Mrs. Jocelyn Theophile Richardson right after. If you're on Maroon House and you would like a shirt, please see Mrs. C. Carlos. If you're on Orange House and you would like please see Mrs. Rita Carty afterwards. We have shirts galore for everybody. And we just last night finished our basketball competition. It was an awesome time. Yellow House was the champion Yellow House was the champion for the junior boys. And Pink House! Woo! Pink is power! All the time! Pink is power! This is what you call a commercial break. I believe. All right. Before us, we have 4 6B students, meaning they have just gone to sixth form and have just started their CAPE subjects. We had 4 6B students just a while ago as well. They were 4 young men, masterminds. Now we are going to have the innovators, and they are led by Mr. Tajik Khanna. Please give them a hand.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. We are the innovators, and the members of my group are Lisa Ann Vanterpool, Ashanta Richardson, Shania Kohli, and myself, Tajik Khanna.
Anguilla's past economy depended heavily on offshore banking, salt picking, and fishing. Today's economy is now dependent on luxury tourism. Our economy is mainly based on external economies. But with vertical farming, we will take control of Anguilla's economy by generating revenue locally. We will make Anguilla great again.
What is vertical farming? It is exactly what it sounds like, farming vertically. It is a very modern method of agriculture. This method of farming uses no soil and is used to grow vegetables and other foods in structures such as shipping containers and warehouses. This is an example of vertical farming in a shipping container. This is the facility which we'll use for the vertical farming. Here we have a 3D model of what the facility would look like.
Now, there are 3 types of vertical farming. There are hydroponics, which grows plants without soil, aquaponics, which combines fish farming and hydroponics, and aeroponics, which combines growing plants with no soil and very little water. For our idea, we chose to go with aeroponics. Why? Because aeroponics uses 90% less water than the most conventional and efficient hydroponic systems. Here's a diagram of the aeroponic system. The roots are suspended in the air and are watered by mist nozzles which spray a nutrient-rich solution located down here, transported by the water pump. On the outside of the system, the timer activates the irrigation.
This diagram is a real-life representation of lettuce being grown using the aeroponic system.
Now, why did we choose vertical farming? We chose vertical farming because we believe that we should start mass producing actually, our own food locally and selling to locals. That way, we increase our GDP by reducing the import bill on food, which was $488 million in 2010. Houston, we have a problem. I would also like to tell you guys to imagine if everyone in 2020 ate the diet of an average American or Anguillan to feed the world's population. This would require all the habitable lands available worldwide to be used for agriculture, and we would still be 38% short. What will we do when the population continues to increase by the billions? Now, this is, well, basically we want to have 4 warehouses developed. 3 in the west, well, 2 in the west, 1 in the valley, and 1 in the east. This is a plethora of vegetables that can be grown using aeroponics. And out of these vegetables, we believe that we should start off by producing broccoli, lettuce, and peas. Why? Because these are vegetables that are most likely in high demand in Anguilla and by neighboring countries. There are also many fruits that can be grown using aeroponics. And out of these, we believe that we should start producing strawberries, eggplants, and tomatoes. Strawberries have to be imported from the United States. If we produce strawberries locally, we don't have to import these fruits anymore. We don't have to import strawberries. We don't have to import grapes. Local supermarkets can simply buy from us, once again, reducing the import bill. Eggplant is a very hefty fruit. So just in case Anguilla has to suffer consequences from another pandemic, or the one that we're currently experiencing, we can survive off of fruit like eggplant. Herbs. There are also a plethora of herbs that can be grown using aeroponics. Now, out of these herbs, we believe that we should start producing rosemary, thyme, and parsley. These are herbs that we usually use in our cooking in the Caribbean and in Anguilla. There are also many medicinal and aromatherapeutic plants that can be grown using aeroponics. And out of these, we believe that we should start producing chamomile and lavender. Offshoots and other facilities. Now, these are things that we believe can derive from vertical farming. Export to foreign countries. This is the main thing that we want to do with vertical farming. By exporting to close countries such as St. Kitts, we reduce the transport costs and therefore reduce the cost of our overall product, making our product inexpensive compared to competition. Supplying supermarkets. Supermarkets such as JW, Proctor's, Albert Lake no longer have to import these vegetables, import these foods, because they can simply buy from us. Once again, reducing the import bill. People's market. Now, not only will we be supplying supermarkets, but we will have our own supermarket, right? So it's going to be next to the warehouse in the valley, sort of like the people's market that's already there. And all the herbs and fruits grown from the east and west facilities are going to be transported to this grand supermarket, made available to locals for purchase. Tours. Tours of the vertical farms will also be given to tourists and anyone interested in seeing these amazing facilities. For a fee, of course. And we also are proposing that a gift shop be placed in the warehouse, next to the warehouse in West End, where at the end of the tour, tourists can buy souvenirs. So not only are we making money from the tours, we are making money from the gift shop. Seasoning factors. Now, this is one of my favorites because I know many of you have heard Dr. Webster by now, our premier, talk about how we can take Anguilla forward with manufacturing. This is our chance. Herbs can be manufactured into seasonings. All those herbs that can be grown with vertical farming, the thyme, the parsley, the rosemary, the mint, they can all be manufactured, right? And not only that, but we can supply local supermarkets with these seasonings so they no longer have to be imported, and we can export to foreign countries. Jamaica does it, so can we. Canning factories. No, we are not stopping at seasonings. We will also be canning fruits such as tomatoes, vegetables such as green beans. Once again, exporting to foreign countries and supplying our local supermarkets. I would also like to add, on the 4th of August, members of the Farmers Association met with the Honorable Kyle Hodge. In an article published in the Anguilla newspaper on the 17th of August, it states, and I quote, "All in attendance shared a mirrored expectation to see agriculture in Anguilla grow to a place where it can efficiently supply the domestic market and expand to commercial scale manufacturing, then further to export." End quote. Ladies and gentlemen, we previously explained and outlined many of the points mentioned at that meeting. Vertical farms can be in senior centers, used as an activity, so they don't have to be in their homes bored all the time. Prisons, used as an activity for rehabilitation, because that is the main purpose of prisons. Schools, for educational purposes, such as agricultural science. That way, not only are students learning how these vertical farms work, but they are also being equipped with the skills needed and necessary to build and maintain these vertical farms. Advantages. Now, there are many advantages of vertical farming. As you could see up there, job opportunities, minimal water usage, reliable year-round crop production. And as you could tell, the disadvantages tremendously outweigh, the advantages tremendously outweigh the disadvantages. So, and many of them can be combated. Significant maintenance efforts. I previously explained how we can combat this by preparing students to maintain these vertical farms when they exit school. Expert needed to set up the vertical farm, well, obviously. High energy consumption. Solar power can be used to power these farms, right? So we can basically use the ultimate source of energy, the sun. Only suitable for certain kinds of plants. Now, the only plants that can be grown using aeroponics are root crops, such as carrots and potatoes, and big fruit trees. Big fruit trees. Oh, the only crops that can't be grown. My bad. The only crops that can't be grown are big fruit trees and root crops such as carrots and potatoes. Thank you.
This is an example of a successful aeroponic farm called Aero Farms.
Technical difficulties. Here we go.
You can't see it on the outside, but this old industrial neighborhood is an agricultural oasis. Inside this former laser tag arena, about 250 kinds of leafy greens are growing in huge quantities to be sold to local supermarkets and restaurants. This is Aero Farms, a massive indoor vertical farm in Newark, New Jersey.
Our mission is to build farms and cities all over the world so people have access to fresh, great tasting, highly nutritious food.
Crops are stacked more than 30 feet high inside this 30,000 square foot space. They're grown using aeroponic technology.
Typically in indoor growing, the roots sit water and one tries to oxygenate the water. Our key inventor realized that if we missed nutrition to the root structure, then the roots have a better oxygenation.
AeroFarm says the root misting system allows them to use 95% less water than a regular field farm. They also use no pesticides or herbicides. Instead of soil, plants are grown in reusable cloth made from recycled plastic, and instead of the sun, there are rows and rows of specialized LED lighting.
A lot of people say the sun is wait, plants need sun. In fact, plants don't need those factors, so we're able to reduce our energy footprint by doing things like reducing certain types of spectrum.
This sophisticated climate-controlled system cuts the growing cycle in half, so crops can be grown all year round, but with a much smaller impact on the environment.
Here's all.
AeroFarm produces 3 million pounds of vegetables a year, and their annual revenue as at 2019 is $608,915. Other countries such as Japan, South Korea, Singapore, Italy, and Brazil have also seen more of vertical farms. Here is a case study of an aeroponic farm in South Korea called Farm 8. As the trend continues, vertical farming is expected to be valued at $5.8 billion by 2022 and $7.3 billion by 2025.
Reduce import bill,
Improving food security,
promoting jobs,
generating local capital,
and taking control of our economy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is vertical farming.
I will now invite the judges. If you have a question, please. Mr. Samuel would like to be first. You can pass the mic.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say that was an excellent presentation.
Thank you, thank you.
Presentation. And I have lots of questions, but I just have two that I want to get out there. What went into selecting the types of crops? What went into selecting the types of crops that you figured you should start with? What sort of considerations?
You want to know why?
Yes, essentially.
Okay, so once again, we believe out of the vegetables that we should start producing broccoli and lettuce and peas, because these are vegetables that are in high demand in Anguilla and Caribbean countries around us. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, with that quarter acre of land that you have in your backyard, you can still grow that pigeon peas that you also love. Out of the fruits, we believe that we should start growing strawberries and eggplants and tomatoes. Once again, the fruit strawberry, it has to be imported from the US. So if we produce it locally, not only can we produce local markets, but we can also raise the taxes on strawberries imported. That way our product remains inexpensive relative to the competition.
Thank you. My second question is perhaps a more important one. You spoke about the reduction in water, which is true, even from a technological standpoint, right? But where are you getting your nutrient for the plant? I think that's going to be a high cost because fertilizer the cost has been increasing. And if you're using green leafy vegetables, you're going to be using a lot of nitrogen, which is one of the more expensive fertilizers. So my question is, how do you intend to source your fertilizer or your nutrient for producing the crops?
That's a good question. I'll answer it very clever. I don't know how we are going to pay for the fertilizers, right? But with aeroponics, we no longer have to pay for pesticides, herbicides, and other chemicals. So the money that we are not spending on those, we can spend on the fertilizers.
All right. Mr. Khanna, that's the perfect answer, right? But I'll say this, the answer is in your presentation because you mentioned hydroponics, you also mentioned aquaponics. So if you're going to be using aquaponics, which uses fish effluent, you can perhaps use that you can actually have an aeroponic system that is fueled by your aquaponic system, right? But again, very good presentation.
Thank you, thank you.
Hello. I had lots of questions, but as you were going through your presentation, I kept crossing them out because you did an awesome job presenting this project. So congratulations to all of you guys.
Thank you.
How would you certify quality management for your exports? How do you maintain quality product?
For the exports?
Yes. How do you certify the quality of your exports, of your product?
Okay, so I believe that we can have our produce tested in labs. That's one way. For now, that's the only way I can think of that we can test the produce. So yes, we can have a facility, and I believe that we said that a gift shop is going to be next to the warehouse in West End. Next to the valley is our Grand People's Market, so that lab can easily be placed next to the one in East End.
For a second there, Mr. Connor, I thought you were going to say that the policymakers would create the policy for quality control. One of the things this is low-hanging fruit. I hope everyone is actually. Oh, I'm sorry. This is low-hanging fruit. This is a brilliant project. One of the things I think that the only thing I can think of in terms of what you failed to mention was, in the advantages, was that because of where we are situated, because of our weather, because of hurricane, this is the perfect farming solution. We get another Hurricane Irma, we close our container doors, we strap it down, we wait for Irma to pass, and then we open it back up again and we continue farming.
Right.
Okay, I'm sorry, not Irma, Irma-esque. It is, yeah? He did mention, I'm sorry, you did mention weather?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was sleeping at that time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliantly done. A number of, in terms of architectural quality or aesthetics, a number of buildings have started the whole idea of vertical green walls, idea of creating facades, not of concrete, but facade of green, which of course we all know the health benefits of this. I think this was brilliantly done, well thought out, well presented. Thank you.
Mrs. Scarty?
Thank you, innovators. Can you explain to us some of the health benefits that would be associated with the aeroponics system for our population?
The health benefits for our population, I would not, compared to other greens that we grow here already, other vegetables that we grow here already, okay.
Probably you should rephrase, Mrs. Carter. Probably you should rephrase a little bit.
Yes, in your advantages, I expected to see something about the health benefits.
Oh, okay. So less pesticides, obviously, right? So I previously mentioned that we import many of our produce from the United States, which we know the United States uses many of these chemicals. So by producing it locally here, we take control of how we produce our own products. Once again, with aeroponics, you use no herbicides, no pesticides, and no chemicals. So our produce will be healthier than the competition. Thank you.
Well, I really don't.
That's my mom, yes.
I really don't have a question, but I do have a
Mrs.
comment. Excellent presentation, and I think the execution in terms of thinking not just locally but globally, and the expansion in terms of scaling it to other avenues and how you can support both education, health, prisons, a phenomenal job. Great job.
Thank you.
So as was mentioned before, really good presentation. I do have one question because it wasn't clearly stated, but if you can just let me know, what about your project is beyond extraordinary? To give further context, how does that idea tie into our tourism product as it relates to the tagline Beyond Extraordinary?
Okay, how it relates to our tourism product, I believe once again that tourists will want to pay money to see these amazing, you saw the pictures of the facilities, right? Very modern, very futuristic. I believe that people will pay, I would pay money to see these amazing facilities, and I believe many people in the audience would too. So when it comes to tourists coming here and spending money, that is one way. I also mentioned the gift shop itself in West End, next to the West End Warehouse, where at the end of the tour, just like when you go to Coney Island, Six Flags, you know, you have a gift shop on the outside, wallets are coming out and money's going in. So that's how I believe that. But not only that too, when it comes to tourists coming here, I believe that when they see how we produce our own food and that we produce it in a healthier version, a healthier way, that they would want to come back than consuming unhealthy products in the United States and in their own countries.
Mr. Romney, do you have any question? Mr. Romney, comment?
No, I think it has been said across the table that the presentation was an exceptional one. I thought so as well. I agree with my colleagues. But what I thought was very unique about it is its potential for an immediate startup, right? And I thought that element is significant in a pitch of this nature. So congratulations to you and the team for the conception and for the delivery.
We have one more question. Mrs. Carter, if you can pass the mic down. Thank you.
Just a quick comment to Mrs. Carty's question, and this is why I love this concept so much. It's scientifically proven that producing foods locally, right, you have a higher nutrient value because the transport time is lower, it's less, so you have a higher nutrient density remaining in the plant. So to answer Mrs. Carty's question, so this is a brilliant presentation. And again, it is low-hanging fruit. This is something we can do tomorrow, as you have done and demonstrated here today. Right? Thank you.
Oh yes, I failed to mention that this is actually a walking aeroponics system. I was supposed to mention that after I showed you guys the diagram. So yes, it does work. Yes, it does work. So, yes, we put a lot of work into it, put a lot of work. This was what, 12 until 12 a.m.? We put a lot of work into everything. I couldn't have done it with these three incredible young ladies. Women empowerment, come on. And I would like to thank you all once again for listening. Thank you so much.
Please put your hands together for the innovators. Thank you. We will give the judges a minute or two. To fill you in on some more news from the ALHCS, this week is our business week. It is being celebrated 1st February to 5th. Yesterday we had an entrepreneurial quiz for our students in the quadrangle, which was a lot of fun. Tonight we're at the BIB. Tomorrow we're going to have a virtual quiz. And then Thursday we're going to have a mini conference for our Year 5 students. We're going to have topics such as Dream Big in small Anguilla. And guess who is the guest speaker for that topic? No other than the billionaire in the room. Who else would you? Yes, Mr. Brooks, you have to speak on Thursday. Thursday. Yes, 2:10. An honest day's work for an honest day's pay. And we have Miss West, who is going to be telling our children, work your butts off. No slacking on the job. Our workplace professionalism, Miss Annika Webster-Lake. And we're going to have a panel. They're going to be so big, I have to talk about it on its own. So we're going to move right on, and we are going to have group number 3. And if Michael Jackson was here, he'd probably be singing something like Thrillers. Welcome to Thrillers, come on down. Thrillers are led by Taisha Emmanuel. This is our only group. This is our first group with 5 persons. I'm not sure if you've picked it up a little bit, but even last year, all of our groups only have 4 members. Now, can any adult in the room try and figure out why they're only doing 4? The rules are that you must have 4 to 7 members. So why do you think they're only sticking with 4? Oh, Dick. And you say our children not passing CSEC math. They are getting the math. That's arithmetic, Ms. Carter says. That's arithmetic. Well, we are proud to have our first group with 5 students, and they are Taisha Emmanuel, Arisha Richardson, Niamke Brooks, Chloe Adams, and Remisha Proctor.
Test. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello?
Good evening, everyone. Anguilla has undergone several industries over the past few decades. While some were initially successful, they ultimately faded out. Rum production was attempted, but ceased in 2008 as it was unsustainable due to Anguilla's failed sugar production system. The main reason being the lack of arable land. The salt industry was also vital up until the 1980s, but also failed because of increased competition from other Caribbean islands such as Cuba. As a result of brilliant innovation and foresight by the late Sir Emile Gomes, we saw the transition from salt to high-end tourism on the island that has proven to be fruitful over the many years. This type of tourism targets million-year and billion-year type visitor arrivals to Anguilla and has been the driving force of the country's economy to this day. My team and I believe that by diversifying tourism innovatively and sustainably, it will bolster our economy. The COVID-19 pandemic has wreaked havoc on every industry. Given a return to safety, my team's idea would offer another basket to put our eggs in. Our innovative idea is the creation of a magnificent adventure and amusement park on Scrub Island. This will attract not only locals but regional and international tourists, as it will be a one-of-a-kind in Latin America and the Caribbean. Though it is not diversifying Anguilla's economy to a different industry, it is diversifying tourism landscape, which we already have a solid foundation in. Expanding to attract regional visitors will also help in promoting the goal of CARICOM by encouraging regional economic integration. The economic benefits that will yield from this foreign direct investment includes, but is not limited to, generating capital to meet deficiencies in savings in Anguilla's economy, generating employment, generating foreign exchange, generating government taxation revenue, and an increase in productivity from the transfer of managerial change. Scrub Island is located east of the mainland and proves to be ideal for the project as it is unused, sizable, and remote. These qualities are reasons why the development of a beyond extraordinary, dynamic, and futuristic amusement park on Scrub Island will be successful.
Cases review. Okay. Many early amusement parks and theme parks were deliberately built on the flattest ground possible to make it easier for people to walk around and to build attractions. Even today,
Many of the world's most popular theme parks are built on land and with little topographic relief. Examples we are all familiar with: Universal Studios and Disneyland. Building an amusement park on an island will be an amazing and different experience. This will give Anguilla an advantage This will give Anguilla an advantage to learn the history of.
You're good.
This will give Anguilla an advantage. This is an advantage for the Anguillan history to be well known throughout the Caribbean. Although the amusement park is a great idea, let's make this idea extravagant. Have you ever thought about getting to Scrub Island without water transport? Let's talk about the Channel Tunnel. The Channel Tunnel, also called the Eurotunnel, rail tunnel between England and France that runs beneath the English Channel. The Channel Tunnel is 31 miles or 50 kilometers long, consists of 3 tunnels, 2 for rail traffic and a central tunnel for services and security. The tunnel runs between Folkestone, England, and Saget near Calais, France, and is used for both freight and passenger traffic. This is a spectacular idea connecting Anguilla to Scrub Island.
Welcome to Jukahu Theme Park. This name was specifically selected as it was originated from the Amerindians, which is a part of our Caribbean heritage. Our proposal today is to the government of Anguilla, private and international investors. The idea is presented through an innovative theme park and tunnel, both catering to regional tourism. The need to develop and cater to regional tourism is even more prevalent given the current COVID-19 pandemic. As a result of the pandemic, we have experienced a steady decline in our high-end tourism, which opened our eyes to look at other subsections within tourism. Some may ask, isn't this still putting your eggs in one basket? Or some may think that this is not diversification. But let us be realistic. Tourism is always going to be marketable. Research shows that tourism is the world's fastest growing industry. Lord, people gonna always need a break. The location chosen for Jukahu Theme Park is Scrub Island. You may ask, why Scrub Island? Scrub is the largest and the nearest key to Anguilla. Unlike the more popular offshore keys, Scrub Island is unoccupied, giving way to development. The theme park consists of the following: an information center, which caters history about Anguilla and artifacts of Caribbean islands. Helipad to aid in transportation. Roller coasters, Jurassic Park, dino attraction, Jaws, shark attraction, international restaurants, McDonald's, local restaurants, Manuku. Lastly, a local market. We could never forget our Anguillians. The Jukahu Theme Park will be operating off of wind and wave energy. The means of transport on the island are solar-powered go-karts and all types of bicycles to help to minimize global warming. You may be wondering how can you get to the island? The intended means of transport on the island are by boat, a helicopter, Woo! An underwater tunnel which allows for movement via cars and boats, via cars and buses. The tunnel for the Ferrari Islands cost $1,666 million US. By boat, it took 2 hours to get to one island, but by sea, it takes 15 minutes. To get to Scrub Island, it takes 8 minutes. Just imagine by tunnel, 1 to 2 minutes, literally walking distance. Once building it from Windward Point, we can also rely on UK expertise to help with building the tunnel. The estimated cost of the Jukuhu theme park and the narrow tunnel is roughly $190 million US. Benefits: job creation, increase in revenue, diversification of the economy, increase in recreational sites. And with everything you do, there are challenges. Some challenges that we may encounter are minority of the geographical landscape may not be suited for development, may endanger sea life and animals, destruction to forestry, and lastly, natural resources. Finally, sources of funding and potential investors. In order to attain this aids, we have decided to approach chain companies involved in similar investments, investors interested in innovative and diverse ideas. For example, Mr. Richard Schultz, thank you, owner of Cuisinart and Resorts Spa, and an American billionaire who is the founder and former chairman and CEO of Best Buy International chain of business and the owner of numerous businesses and companies within the United States.
We hope that this economic enfranchisement can help with the diversification of Anguilla's economy and further identify Anguilla as the #1 place to be. This venture will add more character to our small but dynamic island, with its unique features found only in the Caribbean. With this establishment, the Jukuhu theme park would lead to diversification of our economy sustainably. This economic activity not only presents an innovative opportunity for us Anguillians to market our history, but also to create jobs and increase revenue. Though we may be faced with challenges such as natural disasters, endangerment of sea life and animals, and
you already started the education part of the education aspect of your project in that way. I have a quick question though. How are you going to, because you spoke about localizing some of the aspects of the theme park. So I have one thing to add. So you could use Anguilla fried chicken instead of McDonald's. Or Ken's Barbecue Part 2. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But I think you were out of the box in terms of the other presentations so far. You were out of the box. I mean, that's not my aspect, so I can speak to it. I don't judge you on that part. But I think you were out of the box. But I wanted to hear more of the different aspects of the theme park, and how you were going to how you were going to preserve, because Scrub Island has some of the largest trees of certain species and some other aspects as well. So I wanted to know how you would preserve those native aspects as well, those natural aspects, as well as marrying the various attractions that are going to be on the theme park.
So, just to mention the big trees on Scrub Island, and the Jurassic Park is where the dinosaurs and the different, you know what I mean, thrilling effect will be happening. So most of those big trees will not be uprooted, because they would be used for, you know, the development of the island. Yeah.
I keep saying it,
Yeah, and for the description of each of the different stuff right here on the board. So Welcome to Jurassic Park, a land transformed by science. Here you will witness beauty and danger at its best. From the beautiful scenery of the treacherous creatures and lurk behind the trees, for those brave enough to visit, you will be living the dream of a lifetime by coming face to face with rapturous creatures who once roamed the earth among us. Right, so all the trees and the creatures and all the fun stuff will still be there. They won't be gone.
Okay. All right. I just want you to add ambularizer to that as well, the large rodent that would have trailed Anguilla as well. I just want you to keep thinking of how you're going to marry what we're doing here in our history before you, as well as the attractions that you're going to have moving in that way. I'll just pass it on to someone, but thank you.
All right, very well done again. This is a very big idea, very transformative. So I commend you guys for that.
Thank you.
I think you gave the Hodge family a very great idea to run with. Yeah, he's right in the room. How you basically will be dependent on numbers.
Yes.
So what's your proposal? What's your idea in terms of partnering with airlines or maybe even having regional ferries? How are you thinking in terms of access to Anguilla? Anguilla being a little that, not really accessible like the other countries with international airports, international harbors. What are you thinking along those lines?
Yeah, so there's regional airlines in the Caribbean, and most of them don't come here. Yet, I think they're defunct now, but that was one of the biggest, right? So, and it stopped coming here. Reason being no tourists to come to Anguilla, regional tourists. With this now, all of those airlines will be back in business because they will be coming here. Yeah.
Also, we will use. Also, we will use local airlines to be one of the transit flights. You going through Antigua, since that Antigua is the main airport. So therefore, our national, local airlines will benefit from this venture. That was supposed to be part of it, but through the rush and everything, we did not get to add it in, but that was part of our idea. And also, the government of Anguilla could help to subsidize this venture. Yes, 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 yes.
There's something aesthetically pleasing about this presentation. The nuances are in our face. The fact that the group is called Thrillers, and then it's a thrill ride. The fact that you had the tunnel hidden under the table. The colors, it was brilliantly placed, and believe it didn't go unnoticed. You gave a lot of information.
Thank you.
You spoke about how to get there, the transportation. You spoke about the history. I love the fact that you grounded it in our Amerindian heritage.
Thank you.
In terms of presentation, you really delved into it. You spoke about chain companies. You spoke about financing. There were a couple of things that are still in the air, and it's a very, very large and adventurous project.
Yes,
but you guys, you took it on. You took a chunk out of it, and I must say it was well presented. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Thrillers, I do endorse everything that Mr. Brooks said. And it occurred to me that it is a very expensive undertaking. So I wondered, how would you make sure that it is affordable for locals to come and enjoy the experience that they would certainly want to come and enjoy? So what are some of your ideas to make sure that the judges can benefit from what you have presented?
Locals will have a 25% discount. So. It will be cheaper.
Mrs. Quincy Gums Marie, you're on the floor.
So a really great project. It's very exciting, and as you'd have mentioned, it would be a diversification of what currently exists. I do, and because of that, I'm realizing that this project lends itself to mass tourism, and theme parks and mass tourism go hand in hand. And currently, we do not have enough rooms on island to facilitate mass tourism. So how do you propose we house the people that you anticipate to be coming to your theme park in order to make it a success?
Okay, so I understand. Well, based on past tourism seasons, it wasn't always 100% occupancy throughout. So it will end up being 100% occupancy throughout.
All right, thank you. I want to join my colleagues. It was really a very engaging and thorough presentation. Well done to you, to the team.
Thank you.
I want to go back though to the tunnel and see if you guys can share with me your thinking behind it. It seemed to be a very massive undertaking, given the distance of scrub from Anguilla. Right? So can you give me your thinking behind it? What drove that as a key component of the project?
Well, number one, we don't want boats to be coming to the island per se. You know what I mean? So with a tunnel, it prevents coral reefs from being destroyed. After it's built, there's no environmental unsafe things happening. So once a tunnel there, you could go through it. You got a bus shuttle, so not much cars really gonna be going. So they got a bus shuttle that everybody would go on, go through the tunnel, and on the inside the tunnel now would have different artifacts and stuff. You know what I mean, beautifying it. It wouldn't be just like a plain tunnel, just that boring. You know what I mean? So.
Also, you can experience it regionally and not internationally.
Yes.
Tunnel, going through the tunnel. You don't have to go to France. You don't have to go to England. You don't have to go to the Faroe Islands to go through a tunnel.
Yes. Any more questions?
All right, can we give it up for the Thrillers? Time for another commercial break. We want to tell you about our expo on Friday. It is called the Ethne Richardson Entrepreneurship Exposition. Short, Ethne's Expo. This is a showcase of businesses owned and operated by the students and teachers of the ALHCS. Last year, it was a very heartwarming and dynamic event. It's going to be held in a Rodney MacArthur Auditorium again this Friday, 5th February, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. One special feature that we have at the expo this year is that we are going to be showcasing businesses owned and operated by students who left the ALHCS between 2000 and 2009. And if any of you are listening and you haven't signed up as yet, we are asking you to come on board and just register. There's no fee, just put down your name. We even supply you with a table, and you sell your business, you market your business, what you make you keep, and you just say thanks, and we are happy with that. So we are asking those who graduated between 2000 and 2009, if you own and operate a business, to come and showcase your business at the expo on Friday. And that starts at 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We're also going to take the opportunity to say thank you and to honor a few of our business teachers who have done tremendous work, and we're actually standing on their shoulders today. And so it's a very short opening ceremony at 10, no longer than 15 minutes. But there's some people who have been a part of our business department who are no longer with us at the ALHCS, and we truly want to look back, reflect, and say thank you to them. So anytime between 10 and 5, pop in, walk with a 5EC or 5US and buy something from somebody, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy the expo on Friday. Our next team is setting up. They're going to be ready in a few minutes, and one of our judges had to step out. But let me say that we also have our debating competitions coming up, Ms. Carty, at the end of the month. 24th, 25th, 26th. And we will not have the LIDC, the Regional Debating Competition event that is held every year, which we usually dominate. Yes. We have I'm not sure if it's our first time having a minister of government who was a part of our LIDC team. Mrs. Carty, is that so? Our parliamentary secretary, so we have two. We have a twin. Well, we're proud to have them as representatives and as examples of what is possible when you become a member of our debating club. So our debating club doesn't want to get rusty, so we're going to do our own thing, and we're gonna just iron sharpen iron, right? So that's what we're going to do as we have this event. So the ALHCS, as Mrs. Scotty says, is one vibrant place. There's never a dull moment. It's always us trying to do better, trying to help our students have a richer life. And that's not only monetary, but richer mentally, physically, academically. And this event here is one example of such. And so now our final group for the evening, our final team, all from 4th form, and they're all business students. And as you note, for those of you who may not be aware, our lower school students, they wear a different uniform. Years 4 and 5 wear beige and green, and our 6th formers wear blue and gray. Please put your hands together and welcome ANP, Anguilla Natural Produce.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to present our business idea to you, even though we're a little, younger. Tonight we will be presenting the
ANP,
Anguilla
Natural Produce.
In this presentation, we'll be going over the
business overview, products and services, economic benefits,
challenges and solutions, locations and financial plans.
Anguilla Natural Produce is a corporation that thrives through agriculture. We have a number of fields set around the island with one central farmhouse located in the valley. On these fields, we cultivate crops to be exported to neighboring islands and to be sold to the local markets and local islanders of Anguilla. And this is put in place to benefit Anguilla. The history of agriculture in Anguilla goes back to the plantation days when the colonizers cultivated tobacco and sugar. And nowadays, agriculture in Anguilla sums up to raising cattle and growing corn.
We're not the only one who thought of this idea. Singapore, Grenada, Guyana, and Dominica have successfully made agriculture into one of its major economies. Singapore has succeeded using vertical farming in agriculture for many years. Grenada, our fellow Caribbean island, is the second largest producer in the world. Yes. Great. And remains a significant producer in maize, cinnamon, ginger, and other crops. Agriculture also supports 24% of the country's employments, including tourism, manufacturing, and construction, as the other economies. According to my statistics, in 2018, Grenada exported $36.5 million, making it the number 200 exporter in the world. If our fellow Caribbean island Grenada could do it, so can we.
Yes, we can. I'm just going to give you an example of the business cards that we'll be using to advertise our business. No problem.
The following crops listed shall be exported to our neighboring islands and shall be sold to local markets and islanders. These are fruits, bananas, lemons, mango, and watermelon. Vegetables, peppers, tomatoes, carrots, eggplant, corn, peas, beans, cabbage, and lettuce.
This is an example of the crop packages we'll be giving to the locals. Okay. Real?
Now we move on to economic benefits. This will benefit Anguilla by increasing employment rates, giving a backup industry, increasing island profit, and island value.
So, Janae, how will this increase employment rates in Anguilla?
Well, Davina, I'll tell you. Getting your hands dirty in the fields is not the only job available to the locals that want to work. In agriculture, there are a number of things you can do, such as agriculture engineer, agriculture economist, farm manager, soil and plant scientist, conservation planners, and agriculture salesperson.
And Janae, I was wondering, how does this have potential of diversifying the industry in Anguilla?
I can also answer that, Jafrezi. Well, since the COVID-19, the tourism industry and Anguilla's economy has been hit drastically. A backup industry should be put in place. I think this is a wise decision, and my answer to that is agriculture. I think that's the best option instead of putting all your eggs in one basket. Taxes has been raised, salaries have been cut, and half of the island is unemployed, and bringing agriculture and making it a main industry would really benefit Anguilla and fix this problem. Also, out of the production of crops, there can be a second industry, a manufacturing industry, and we can produce foods and beverages out of these crops cultivated.
And how, Janae, will this bring income and increase the island's value?
Well, Brielle, I can answer both of those questions as well. The point of exporting to the neighboring islands and selling to the locals is basically to bring income to the island, you know? All this will bring revenue, and sustainability increases with value. So the fact that Anguilla would be able to grow their own crops and their foods and manage themselves without the help of additional outsiders to develop on the island will bring value to the island. And now we're gonna go over the considerations and the big concerns you have when starting up the this business. Okay, Brielle, question.
What will make our farm and farmhouse different than others? Our farm and farmhouse are different to others because of our new and advanced technology like vertical farming. As a company, we are trying our best to spread health awareness and are also health conscious and care about what goes into the bodies of our dear customers. Over the years, there has been a massive increase in diseases such as cancers and diabetes and many more. That's where our produce comes in, to help put an end to these diseases in Anguilla and the region. As you can see in our model, we have a well which has natural and fresh water and is also chemical free. We also use manure as a natural fertilizer for our crops. And for us, using artificial fertilizers is a no. ANP, Anguilla Natural Produce, strives to create, or should I say build, a healthier region.
What technology will your farmhouse have to sustain the crops Anguilla may have trouble with growing? Well, we have a lot of trouble we have a lot of troubleshooting in Anguilla, such as land space, water, and soil. We will combat this by the use of vertical farming. Vertical farming, which is the practice of growing crops vertically, and water beads. Water beads are the farming method which is
put into place to reduce the use of water. All right. Anguilla is in the Caribbean and it is a hurricane-prone zone. What will we do to protect our investment from natural disasters? Realistically speaking, you cannot completely protect your investment from natural disasters, but we will try to build up a strong armor like shutters for our greenhouses. And the convenience of having the different fields located around the island is that if one side of the island is hit more with the hurricane, we can go to the second or the additional fields, build back on that, and restore what we have lost. We are not afraid to lose and start over.
There are still individuals on the island that farm on their own. How will we get them on board and want to work for our company? ANP, Anguilla Natural Produce, has safe working conditions, but if you do indeed get hurt or injured, we got you covered. We have insurance and we pay you a fair working salary. It is better to work for our company, our organization, instead of working on your own, struggling to get money out of your own pocket.
Okay, and this is just a quick plan, a design of what our fields will have. We have the 3D model here. The first one is that, and that is an example of what the central farmhouse would look like. It will have the farmhouse, the fruit trees, the well, and the greenhouse, and the vertical farming inside the greenhouse as well. And then the second design is the additional fields that will be located around the islands. We're looking to put them at Carl's Bottom, Welch's, and West End. So, yeah. Okay, advertising. We will be marketing to the locals and the neighboring islands. We will do this through newspapers, social medias, websites, blogs, articles, just to get the word out about our corporation. The financial plan, we came up with an estimate of $40,000 US. We made this up with the adding of the machinery, the materials, and the resources that we will be using. And this is the production percentage. We'll be producing 43% fruits and 57% vegetables. We came up with this with the demands of Anguilla, the markets of Anguilla. For the first few years, we plan to come up with a profit of maybe $5 million, and we will use we'll spend at least $1 million. And we would do this by managing our business well and having a strong business plan and financial plan. And that will wrap it up. And that's it for
ANP,
Anguilla
Natural Produce.
Thank you for listening. Thank you.
Judges.
Okay, quick question. What do you need from government? Let's get it going.
What do we need from the government? Probably land. Definitely land. I think that's the most important one.
Ladies, that was a very simple but effective presentation. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very good job. Very good job. Very informative as well. I like your examples of using Singapore, which is just a few square miles bigger than St. Lucia. So that's a very good scalable example for the audience and ourselves. Okay. I thought it was a great example. I don't know, how did you come up with the crops that you chose? That's one of my questions. You chose peppers, tomatoes, lettuce, carrot, eggplant. How did you come up with those?
We came up with those by the demands of Anguilla, and also we looked at what would be able to be grown with Anguilla's land.
Perfect answer, because those are, from an agronomic standpoint, those are the crops we should probably be focusing on
Yes.
because of the land.
Thank you.
Just one more note, because I don't have a lot of questions. I think you hit the nail on the head when it comes to food production and what we can do in Anguilla. But the fact that you considered vertical farming, the health awareness, the fact that this is an avenue to combat or prevent non-communicable diseases, the use of wells and natural fertilizer, this is a sustainable, environmentally sustainable sort of approach that we need. Good job, ladies.
That was the goal. Thank you.
Just one more thing. Your main focus or your main market seemed to be export. How do you look at the internal market, the local market, and how do you deal with the competition that is imported into Anguilla?
Well, we will have to be, when we're talking about competition, it will really be editing the prices. And let's just say we also get imports from, well, example, Brazil. We will make our produce price lower than Brazil, and also make sure our quality is better as well. So they will have no choice. They have to pick us. It's cheaper. It's better.
There are a few things. Again, I'd just like to echo what the gentleman to my left said about the presentation. It's simple. There are a couple things from aesthetic standpoint. I'm not sure who helped you design the structures, but scale-wise, they're on point. I have a sneaky suspicion, I think I know who did it, but we won't call any names. They are on point, that's the first thing. Secondly, what about what's in the farmhouse? I don't think you didn't say exactly what's in the farmhouse. I know it's in the greenhouse and you have the wells and the vertical gardens. What's in the farmhouse?
Okay, firstly, our wonderful parents help us with the building of the structure. They are so nice. But inside the farmhouse, we have vertical farming. We have the example of the farmhouse. Oh,
We have offices.
Okay.
We have offices, and we have a small part for the storage. We will put the tools and any additional things that we would need to use on the actual farm itself.
Okay. You delve into a lot of things. For instance, you spoke about Grenada and the GDP, 24% of the island's GDP. You also said how we would increase employment here, agriculture engineers, agriculture economists. That's just fantastic. I really, really enjoy that because you've been giving it a lot of thought. There's also something very brave about you ladies. And you said it. You said, and I quote, don't be scared to start over if it gets destroyed. I'm not sure people quite understand how profound that is, because we get it all the time as Anguillians,
Yes,
and that is it's so cool and so refreshing to hear that from the younger generation, and you're commended for that.
With failure brings strength.
Sorry?
With failure brings strength.
You go ahead, girl. You go ahead. And your balance sheets look amazing. $1 million expenditure, $5 million profit. Girl, you go ahead. You go.
Yes, thank you, Anguilla Natural Produce, for a very good presentation, and it is very valid and relevant for the present and for the future. But I just wanted to expand your thought and your thinking a little bit on the past and ask you to consider, what did the original inhabitants of Anguilla grow? Because you started with colonists. So I don't know if you have an answer now, but I just wanted to, open that a little bit so that you can think about that as well, and then your presentation would be perfect.
Okay.
I have an answer for that. In the past, they grew tobacco, sugar, cotton, cocoa. So Right now, we are basically focusing on what Anguilla is important to eliminate that problem. Mostly not because of the past, but the now problem.
So congratulations, ladies. This was a very great presentation. I was thoroughly entertained and also inspired. From a tourism standpoint, and that's what I'm expected to do when I look at this, is that you mentioned that you would like to see us more or less move away from tourism and diversify in a way that is independent of tourism. And one of the countries that you mentioned that was doing a really good job within the region was Grenada, who managed to incorporate the development of their agricultural sector as one of the services that they also provide in the tourism sector. So they've managed to somehow find a way to marry the two. And even in their tagline, the spice aisle, so you know for sure that they are rich in agriculture. But I didn't see much of that coming out of your project. So I want to know, is it the aspiration of ANP to be independent of tourism and not incorporated in any way?
Okay, well, it's not that we're trying to be independent, but as of now, from the COVID-19, I think that we need to think of something, what to do right now, what to do now. You know, if the COVID clears up, of course, tourism is there, always there, it always helps, but as of right now, agriculture should be put in place. That's what I think, yes.
Mr. Romney? Any questions, Mr. Romney, or any? Oh, Mr. Romney finally has a question.
Congratulations on a very well thought out presentation. I just have a question because we have two projects right now that are agricultural based and they're closely aligned. So there seems to be a perception among our young people that agriculture is an area that we can definitely diversify into, or somewhat complementary to tourism, but also distinct in its own right. And there's a lot of history behind that as well. And there are also a lot of challenges in Anguilla with agriculture as well. And I like the fact that both of your projects address those challenges by looking at innovative or creative ways to get around them. My question to you, though, comes back to what we know to be a major concern within the Anguilla youth population, that is, young people don't normally look to agriculture for employment. How would you encourage persons to support your initiative? Because you're talking about fields across Anguilla, so you're obviously going to need a good workforce, right? How do you encourage persons to consider agriculture as an option for employment or sustained employment?
Give 1 minute, she thinking. Give 1 minute.
Maybe you can start by telling us why you selected this particular project. Why did you select, as young persons, an agricultural-based project?
Well, we find that Anguilla taking control and doing their own thing is important. Also, my friend here, Brielle, is a vegetarian, and she find it very important in having organic, safe foods to consume. So she was probably one of the inspirations as well, other than the fact that Anguilla imports a lot of exported goods, and that is not safe for the food security either. So. With the young peoples, I have the idea of maybe we having field trips conducted here for like the primary school students. So only we can introduce them to agriculture at a young age, and then this would broaden their minds. Oh, maybe I could work as this, maybe I could work as this, you know? Yes, that was also an idea.
Any final questions for ANP? Please give ANP a hand.
all for listening. This was a great experience. I'm going to write an essay about this.
I told you they haven't eaten or slept for 48 hours. Please go.
Okay.
Now, can you put your hands together for all our teams? ANP, don't sit yet, please. If you can, all the teams, can you come back to your tables? The judges are going to come around and be looking at things. Judges, I will give you 5 minutes. At the same time, we are going to open up our voting online. You have to go to our ALHCS Facebook page. I will tell you when. It is open. It is now open. You can go to our ALHCS. Judges, you have 5 minutes. And then after that 5 minutes, we have to close off. We know this is a little bit extending of time. But if we truly show our children that we are dedicated to them and giving them a little bit extra time, I believe that it'll be big. It'll be a big investment into their lives. So judges, you have 5 minutes. Online voters, you can now go to ALHCS Facebook page. You can vote for who best presented. The site, Mr. Perry Richardson. Can you give me the information for the site, please? Facebook.com/ALHCS School. ALHCSCHOOL. Facebook.com/ALHCSCHOOL. While you're there, please do like our Facebook page so that you can keep up to date with all school happenings that are posted there. One last time, Facebook.com/ALHCSCHOOL. Just a reminder, you are voting for who presented their idea best. You're not voting for which one you like, but you're voting for who presented their idea best. We should have about 6 more minutes before we close the voting. 3 minutes, judges. One minute, judges, please. Judges, 1 more minute. We have about 4 more minutes to vote.
judges, if we can take 1 minute to finish tabulating. A business teacher will collect your folder in exactly 2 minutes, judges.
Yes.
Mrs. Calvin.
So that's where you get it from like the
It is so crazy because we just went to the shop, we just stopped pushing things in the car. It's a best boy one. We're flying on the phone, so we just put up the car.
I can tell you just pushing stuff.
No. The car was part of it.
This is pretty clean. Who did scrub?
Exactly.
It actually looks geographically correct. And little scrub? Oh, and what? It's Midwood Point. Oh, and Midwood Point. Okay. Got it. This was congratulations.
Thank you.
That would be quick.
All right, judges, our teacher needs to collect your paper, your folders, sorry, please. Judges, we are collecting folders at this point. Judges are...
Nissan and Ashanti built the warehouse.
This is something that you guys can literally implement tomorrow. Right? With a little investment and just adequate.
All right, judges, we are collecting folders. Some of us have to go to school at 7 in the morning. Mr. Brooks, you gave in your folder? Mr. Samuel, Mr. Romney, we need to collect your folders. Your folders, judges. Thank you, students. You may take your seats. Thank you, students. Students, you may take your seats. While the scores are being tallied, and this should take another 5 to 7 minutes, we have some of the most accurate and quickest mathematicians on the island. While the scores are being tallied, we want to hear from you, and this is on social media and inside of this audience. Everybody is with me? Great. What are your ideas in terms of diversifying Anguilla's economy? Does anybody have any idea that you really do think is absolutely relevant and appropriate for us to consider as the people of Anguilla, besides any of the four that were presented here tonight? Would anybody like to share for a minute? We have 5 minutes until the tallies come back. Mr. Brooks? No. Anybody would like to pitch in with any idea to suggest? I believe we can share on our Facebook page. Mr. Perry Richardson, you'll pick those up for me. Sweets are sharing up front. I have one rule in my class when it comes to eating. One rule, Mr. Merrick Richardson. In my classroom, there is one rule when it comes to eating. If one is gonna eat, all have to eat. Does anybody have any idea? Any other sixth former low school student? Anyone has any ideas you want to share that the government of Anguilla, the people of Anguilla should consider in terms of diversifying our economy? Let me give you a mic. Yes, there we go. We have a student on the floor.
So my idea would be fish farming. Oh, my name is Karen Avantapool, and my idea would be fish farming. Why fish farming? Because we already export to the neighboring islands to Martin, fish, lobster, and I think that would be a perfect idea. We also have a thriving fish industry in Anguilla, and exporting larger scale would be a good idea.
And then one question. Yes. Come, I'm asking you a question. Yes. And so you'll answer. And so why weren't you in the bib?
I was actually in the bib, but with school, part-time job, I was unable to actually complete the necessary presentations. So I dropped out.
Well, I think next year the topic will still be very relevant, and maybe even so. So we'll consider keeping this for next year if the Premier also keeps the same topic for his budget address. Hint, 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 hint. Any other, do you agree though? Do you all agree? One moment.
No, I just wanted to know whether you were going to be farming on land or out at sea or a mixture of both. That was my question.
She doing her own bib.
Okay, so we did also look into that, and we were thinking maybe having a location on land, and maybe something similar to what we had with the dolphins, whatnot, with the fencing off. Well, the fencing off of the sea. We could have looked into that as well, but thinking about we are prone to hurricanes, we would have maybe had one on land at the various locations on land to minimize the impact from hurricanes as well.
Any other persons want to comment on fish farming? All right, give her a hand, please. Anybody else would like to give an idea about diversifying Anguilla's economy? No? You're speaking for everybody? All right. Sorry.
Well, it's not totally my idea, but I remember last year at the BIB, there was one particular presentation that impressed. Ivan is shaking his head. The young man that had a very simple, maybe not well put together, but simple enough but effective enough, using the standing room pond. And we thought that they were going to push some renewable energy because it's still government owned. So it had me thinking the entire night that this is a project that you could scale up. Why not put 15 megawatts or 5 to 15 megawatts of solar power over the pond? It'll have a lower impact because we keep arguing about marinas, et cetera, right? But it's something that can go. It's 100 acres. We won't need 100 acres. And we could probably mirror what we're producing with fossil fuel. So it's something that we could look at putting into an area like that. But I thought the young men were onto something. They were definitely onto something, but it never materialized further than that. But it was a very modular approach that they put forward.
And so the fact that he was kept up all night, he said, Mr. Brooks says all year he's been kept up thinking about the bib last year. Anybody else have any other suggestions? Some.
Good evening, everyone. One area that I think Anguilla can definitely tap into is our technology industry. It's not something that can be fully materialized right now, but as we begin to educate and understand the need for it, it's definitely something that will be relevant for Anguilla. There's no reason why all of the brilliant minds are in the room can become the next Bill Gates, or we can even create our next Oracle here within the Caribbean region. So I think that that's definitely one area that we can look into for diversifying our economy.
And I wonder why she would be suggesting that. Anybody else would like to make any comment? I think our judge is ready. See, I tell you, speeder than a bolt. And it is a topic that we as a nation do need to make sure. I don't need 2 mics. That we not only discuss with lip service, but that we really put action to our words. We need action to our words. In years gone by, we've complained. This generation has complained about things, people just talking. And we find ourselves in a position, we have to be honest. Are we going to do the same things that they did and just talk? One of the things that is going to help us to get where we have to go with whatever industries we diversify in, and I'm speaking real, I'm not sure which camera I should be looking in now, Gilbert. This one? One of the things that will certainly help us is our people who are overseas coming back home to help us build a stronger Anguilla. That we need. That is a must. I believe that we need to go where we have to go to get educated, to get enriched, to get rich. But home must be always in us. And we must be willing and we must be grateful enough to come back to where we got our roots from and help to build a better place for those who are coming behind us, whichever way we go. So that is a critical point I wanted to raise today. And in doing so, in speaking to us here locally, our government, I believe, one of the things we certainly need to do in order to have that navel string not get cut so easily is to inculcate in our children from small a love for nation. We have to bring that into our children, whether we have an Anguilla subject, teaching an Anguilla from kindergarten once a week, once a month, something where our children learn what it is to be Anguillan. And from small, they know that wherever they go, they should think about coming back. That does not just jump into a person's head. That has to be deliberately, intentionally placed there. And that is one of the things that we can do in order to build a stronger country in the next 30, 40, 50 years. Thank you. All right, so it's winning time. Oh, well, it is presentation of awards time. I'm going to ask the president, the chairman of the Anguilla Youth Business Fund Foundation, Mr. Clemvio Hodge, and our very own principal, Mrs. Rita Carty, to take the stage. Students, I will ask you, as your names, your teams are called, to proceed to the stage. You can enter from this end, and you can go down on that end.
Our special award prizes are first. To the team that has the best idea to execute with 35 points, that award goes to the innovators. They will get the small one. They will get, I think it's called Flip 5 Bluetooth JBL speakers. Give them a hand, please. Can you please give them a hand for presenting the idea that's best to execute? To the team that is beyond extraordinary, again, innovators. Please come forward. I'm sorry. Beyond extraordinary. They will get Samsung Tab A's. That's the medium. Please give them a hand. The Samsung Tab A's and the prize that the innovators already received were donated by several international friends that we have, whose names I will give a little bit later, and a local friend. And we want to thank them so much for realizing that these students work very, very hard. And for the team that had the best presentation, I am sorry, but it's the innovators again. Online audience, they had 45%. And they receive camera stands. Please give them a hand. We will now give the prize, the placements for first, second, and third place. And fifth. Sorry, fourth. I apologize. First, second, third, and fourth. One moment, please. We apologize for that little break.
In third place, winning $500, we have ANP. Can you please give them a hand? All right, 1 second, AMP, I apologize. In fourth place, we have Innovative Young Men winning $250. Innovative Young Men. We are thankful for those persons who donated $250 to fourth place. We really appreciate your generosity. Now in third place, again, ANP. Can you please come forward? We do invite you to stay for a few minutes right after presentation of prizes for a few short remarks by our principal and by the chairman of the AYBF. Thank you for continuing to be patient with us. Thank you. We have two teams remaining. We have the innovators remaining and we have thrillers remaining. And I am happy to say that for the first time and our second time, we have a tie. We can flip a coin. We can have a donation. We have innovators and thrillers coming in with 41 points out of 50 points. Give them a hand. After watching many, many years of Olympics, we know that you can take out the highest score, drop the lowest score, and then you can break a tie. And so we are going to use international standards, and we are going to do just that. So with that in mind, we have thrillers come in second place. Thrillers, come forward, please. So thrillers win $1,000 US, so split between the 5 of them. Congrats. So again, we welcome back innovators to the stage to be 2021's ALHCS BIB winners. Please give them a hand. And thrillers win, besides everything else, $1,500 US. The Anguilla Youth Business Fund did not only give us money for prizes, but they noted last year that the students spend a considerable amount of money out of their own pocket. And so this year, they also gave each group 400 EC dollars to help to fund their projects. I'm almost certain that that 400 EC dollars went like easily. And so by the time they go now to pay back some of the bills that they have incurred, that it will go just like that, very, very easily. At this point in time, so we can move on as speedily as possible, I'm going to invite, I'll invite Mrs. Rita Carty, the principal, to give some remarks.
Good evening, everyone. I endorse our established protocol, and I ask you, aren't you impressed with the students of the Albina Lake Arch Comprehensive School? These are our 15 to 19-year-olds, and I think they really acquitted themselves very well. And Ms. Griffith and the business department, we have to congratulate them. I think we should stand and give them a big round of applause. And Ms. Griffith has been telling you a little bit about the school, so I think I'll tell you a little bit now about the business department. There are about 10 members strong, and last year was the first time we had the business idea basket, and it was mainly sixth formers, and those sixth formers would be taking a variety of subjects, because although it's only 10 members in the business department, our CAPE, our advanced level, is very strong in business subjects. Who can guess how many business subjects we have at the CAPE level? Okay, if I had 5, I heard 4, and they both fall short because it's 6. And they are entrepreneurship, management of business, and I guess you can multiply that by 2 because we have a unit 1 and a unit 2, so it would be 12, right? Accounting, financial services studies, logistics and supply chain operations, and economics. That's the advanced level of our school, and that's built on the foundation of about another 6 subjects at the CSEC level, and they are office administration, electronic document preparation and management, principles of business, principles of accounts, business studies, and economics. Did I leave out any? Doesn't seem so. So our students can go from strength to strength in business, and this co-curricular activity that we were so, I think, privileged to be a part of this afternoon, and I'm sure that we are going to leave inspired to have been part of, is a product of what we were able to offer our students from 4th form, because they don't have it in 3rd form. There are no business subjects in 3rd form, 4th form, 5th form, and 2 years of 6th form, but we didn't have many 6A, well, except for thrillers, there were some 6A students there at the advanced level. So I want to really commend Ms. Griffith, who is head of the business department, and the business department for making Anguilla so rich in developing its human resource potential. Now, we also want to thank the Anguilla Youth Business Foundation, because they were here last year, and they were inspired to make a big donation this year towards this project. Who can remember how much money they gave? EC dollars. 10,000. Isn't that great? Give them a big round of applause for that. Because with that, and with your encouragement and your presence, our children were able to marry their textbooks and their computers, desktop and laptops with authentic learning experiences related to their own context. They made their learning real not only for them in terms of the amount of processing that they did to present to us this evening, but real for us in that they're giving us opportunities and possibilities for our future that will enrich our lives. Give them another round of applause. It's also important because you can tell the children had to work hard, the business department had to work hard. Sometimes you do something once and you think it's a great idea, but you never really manage to do it again. You keep saying, well, there was a time when we did this. But they've managed to do it a second time, and they're going to need all of our help, all of our partnership to be able to do this time and time again. So I thank you in advance for your continued partnership with all of the endeavors of the Albina Lake Arch Comprehensive School, including the Business Idea Basket. Thank you very much for being here.
Good night, everyone. It is with pleasure that I offer these closing remarks as the chairman of the Anguilla Youth Business Foundation. We are very proud to see the level of dedication and heart that has gone into these projects. Many of the members have been here scattered around the crowd, and I saw them clapping, smiling, and cheering you on. One of the things I'd like to bring up is I attended university at the University of Sheffield in England. And one of the first things they had us do in the first weeks of university was to come up with a project that would solve an issue within the city. And that issue was a vacant lot that was there for many years. They wanted an idea for that. The top 6 teams would then go on to speak with the council, the city council, to present their project. My team was one of those that was shortlisted. And can you guess what the project was that we presented? Vertical farming. So we can see that as much as Anguilla is a small country, similar ideas are also within big cities because of the need for space, the need for access to fresh produce and so forth. So many of the ideas that we have are actually innovative ideas for the world, not just for Anguilla. And what I'd like to also include is the fact that we also have a lot of young persons who leave university with great ideas as well. And those young persons create the thesis around Anguilla. And one of the things I would like for us to move forward with is to not let all of those great ideas that are born in the thesis die in the thesis. We need to move on and continue and present a similar program as this for our university students coming back to Anguilla. So thank you very much, Teach, for presenting such a great idea. For its second year as well, doing it even bigger. And we look forward to having many more groups to present to us the great ideas that they have in mind, because we may, and we definitely will, potentially need them. Thank you very much.
And in my last closing remarks, I'd like to do a Thanksgiving. The principal and staff, especially the business department, are cognizant that it takes the village of Anguilla to raise and inspire the children of Anguilla. Endeavors and experiences such as these cannot be executed by the ALHCS alone. They require a collaboration of all of our stakeholders. To the many stakeholders who made the decision and the sacrifice to invest in this evening, we are truly, truly, truly grateful. We are the most grateful to God for his benefits towards us, especially in Anguilla in this global pandemic. Our sincere thanks goes out to all the students who made the daring effort to be a bibber. I coined that today. It can be added to your resume. It was demanding, but I believe many lessons were learned and that you are much richer now than you were before. To the AYBF, the Anguilla Youth Business Foundation, your hope and trust in us as an institution and in our students, and not in word only, but also in deed. That's what you proved. This year, it was a $10,000 worth of deeds. We are so thankful to you for seeing what we see and wanting what we want for Anguilla's children. That is, opportunities to realize that they are great. Merci beaucoup. The special awards were enthusiastically donated by 4 gentlemen. Mr. Warren Buddle, he generously gave last year to our bib, and without hesitation, he contributed and said yes when asked. Equally enthusiastic to contribute were 3 local villa owners, Mr. Philippe, I forgot to ask Ms. Kati to help me pronounce this French word, Pojou Goyette, know how I did, Mr. Jeffrey Preston,
And the other one wishes to remain anonymous. But I do want to say a very special thanks to Philippe, who did encourage the others to jump on board. Sunset Homes also contributed to the awards, and we say thank you to them. Can you please give them a hand? We are thankful to Mr. Nat Hodge, the Anguillian, for publishing our flyers and for covering tonight's event in the next publication. Thank you, Nat. Our online presence, is not of our own doing. Mr. Von Hazel is back with us, donating his resources, time, and expertise. He was here last year, and he's here again. Can you please put your hands together for him? Because of him, we have the memories of our inaugural bib captured on YouTube, and we appreciate him for coming back this year. In Anguilla is in the house. It's streaming us on Facebook and also on YouTube. We appreciate the kindness, the keenness of Mr. Gilbert Fleming and his team for producing our sound, and also the media. Please give him a hand. The beautifully wrapped gifts were done complimentary for a second year by Purple Rose Flowers. Can you give them a hand? Thank you to the parents, friends, supporters of the students. Thank you for being there. That's very important. Just be there. Tonight would not be possible without the selfless love of the judges for our competition. We want to thank you for your selfless love for Anguilla and for its future. All the judges carved out time out of their schedules in order to be here. Can you please tell them thank you? And no matter how good an event is, it's always better with a crowd like you, except Van Bun. And like you online, whichever camera I'm supposed to be looking into. We want to say thank you both for coming. Thank you for logging in. Thank you for coming and being excellent, excellent supporters. We again want to thank God for blessing Anguilla. Good night. You may see the projects close up. If you have a minute to spare and you're not too sleepy, you're free to come forward and look.